Cloisonne, officially known as Cloisonne enamel, is an elaborate high-class work of art made from enamel, luxuriantly decorated with inlays of glass-like glaze on its metallic surface. Cloisonne has its origins in the Yuan dynasty and flourished in the Jintai period, 1450 to 1457, during the Ming dynasty, 1368 to 1644. It was always only for the imperial palace use and was part of the imperial palace culture. Throughout the history of the Ming and Qing dynasties, Cloisonne enamel articles were ornate and precious treasures which belonged to the imperial palace. Then, a department for producing Cloisonne was only set up in the imperial court. During the Ming dynasty, the department producing Cloisonne was in the charge of the director of the office of the imperial household. Later, in the Qing dynasty, the department was in the charge of the workshop of enamel of the palace workshops and was wholly in charge of manufacturing Cloisonne. Cloisonne was not to be found in the homes of ordinary people. Occasionally, the emperor would bestow it as a gift on one of his ministers. Consequently, the imperial princes and court ministers decorated their homes with it to show off the imperial favor and honor which had been shown them by their emperor. For this reason, Cloisonne won the reputation of being more precious than pearls, jewels, and jade stones. The manufacturing technique of Cloisonne is a kind of synthetic art, which combines the technical expertise including painting, crafts, engraving, mosaics, metallurgy, and glass melting. The making of Cloisonne requires dozens of process steps. The main steps are as follows. Design. The design of Cloisonne includes designing its mold, patterns, coloring. Because the lines of Cloisonne patterns are restricted by the mold, inlaying art and glazing material used, they cannot be too sparse or too crowded. For this reason, the designer must not only be equipped with an understanding of fine art and the ability of drawing, but also be familiar with the craftsmanship of how to make Cloisonne, and understand the usability of various kinds of raw material. In this way, when making designs, they should take into full consideration the special characteristics of the craftsmanship, so that the product will convey a harmonious sense of beauty. Base hammering. According to requirements of the particular shape of a rough cast, the processed red copper sheet shall be cut out according to the design, and then cut into fan and round shapes of various sizes. And then a hammer is used to pound the red copper into different rough casts. On some of the archaistic and special products, special designs and decorative patterns were engraved or hollowed out on the rough casts. Wire inlay. The technician then uses the special tweezers to nip and break the pliable and tough copper wires into various decorative patterns according to the blueprint. The patterns are then dipped one wire at a time into a mixture of traditional Chinese medicine made from Blatilla striata and embedded on the copper rough cast, thus making the basic design of the Cloisonne enamel. This work can be compared to the line drawing in traditional ink and brush painting, with the difference being that it uses copper wires to make the outline instead of lines drawn with a brush pen. During the production process of Cloisonne enamel, wire inlay is the most difficult procedure, for the procedure is difficult to master. However, this part is also endowed with the most poetic quality. The crafts persons that do the wire inlay must have a fundamental understanding of artwork paintings. Enamel filling and firing. The glazing material used for enamel filling is made by smelting and firing various chemical raw materials and mineral substances, including quartz, feldspar, and borax. For some products, gold is also added, for the gold has a bright color and is easy to fuse and color. The artisan in charge of enamel filling uses a blue gun or suction tube to inlay the glaze into the spaces between the wires, making it level with the wires. After high-temperature sintering, the bulky and powdered glaze would solidify and sink. Then enamel filling and firing are conducted again and again, for 3 to 4 times. Just as a common saying in the industry goes, fire it 2 times or even 3. Enamel filling of the Cloisonne can be compared to adding color to a painting. In the process of making a complete piece of Cloisonne, the color holds a very important role, just like the second modulation of a work. For this reason, the work of enamel filling requires of the artisan high aesthetic appreciation and knowledge of color scheme in order to produce a fine piece of Cloisonne. Polishing. After the process of enamel filling and firing, the glaze has already become solid on the enamel. But since the thickness is uneven, it needs to be polished level so that the copper wires that were inlaid on the rough cast can be clearly seen. The technique of polishing includes procedures of emery polishing, coarse grinding, and fine grinding. First, the uneven and protruding areas on the surface of the articles are rubbed with coarse grit, and then rubbed with fine grit. After this, yellow stone and charcoal are used for fine grinding to remove the glittering spots and black wires. Continue this process until the article has an even gloss. For some round products, some simple machines can be used in polishing them. But for those articles that have unique shapes and designs, there is only the manual polishing method which has been passed down through history. Gilding. To prevent the oxidation of Cloisonne and make them more durable and pleasing to the eye, the Cloisonne must be gilded with a layer of gold. In preparing the gold plating solution, it must be done according to a certain formulation. Then, when conducting the gilding process, the Cloisonne product is hung in a fluid bath of gold, and then an electric current is applied. Under the positive and negative electric current, it forms a certain electric current density. Then, it is rinsed in clear water and be placed on sawdust to sop up the water and then left to dry out. It is the result of going through such a complicated process of different procedures that a resplendent and magnificent piece of Cloisonne finally emerges. When you see completed pieces of Cloisonne emerge before everyone's eyes, one after another, you will certainly get the sense that Cloisonne, as one of the essence of Beijing and China's national treasures, it reveals the beauty of the artisan's superb ability, reflects the beauty of the skillful handiwork of Cloisonne, and embodies the quintessence of China's palace culture. You will be amazed with the exquisite skills of the Cloisonne artisans and impressed with the extensive and profound traditional culture of the Chinese people.